Hello students, we are back again with very important aspect of language, that is verb. We are going to discuss verb because in language verb is very important. We are going to cover tenses today for you. What are tenses? Tenses is a grammatical term and refers to a form of verb or series of verb forms that indicate time relation. Now, what does this mean? The time of an action and the degree of its completion. What is important for you people to note here is that time and tense, they are two different concepts in English. A verb in the present tense may indicate future time. Now, this is very important for you all to note. I am not referring here future tense, I am talking about future time. So, do not get confused here because we have an example for you. If study hard, you will get a first class. Now, see the word study, this shows present tense. When I say you will get a first class, will refers to future time. She is going to Delhi tomorrow. Similarly, you have going word, it shows the tense which is present continuous and tomorrow refers to the time future. Before we go to the kinds of tenses, we must cover very important thing, aspects. Aspects indicate the relationship between an activity and the passage of time. You know, look at this example, it shows the relationship. It can be either complete action or the action is in process. For example, I am playing. Playing word refers to continuous aspect. The activity is not complete and I am still playing. The other sentence, I have played. This is perfect aspect. It shows the completion of the activity played. Therefore, when we talk of these two aspects, we say in English verb, you have two aspects. One is continuous or progressive aspect and the other is perfect aspect. When we are talking of progressive aspects, it is important to note that any form of auxiliary verb means from be, that is, am, are, was, were, and also the main verb. When we add these, the main verbs ing form, that is ing form means the present participle. Look at this example, I am doing my work. Now, am is taken from auxiliary verb, that is be, form of be verb, and the main verb is do here. We add ing, that is be is am here, be plus present participle, first form of verb. Do is first form of verb here and we add to this ing to form this sentence. Perfect aspect on the other hand uses any form of auxiliary verb, have, has, had. Remember, wherever we have has, had, have, we say it is in a perfect aspect. For example, I have written my work. Now, very important to know is that written is a past participle. So, what do we have? Have is an auxiliary verb here in perfect aspect. And along with it we have the main verb written, which is in past participle. So, you have plus written, have plus past participle. Past participle written word is third form of verb. Now, what is third form of verb? When we have write, wrote and written. Write would be the first form, wrote would be the second form and written would be the third form of verb. You must have heard people talking about future tense, but strange enough you should know that there is nothing what we call as future tense because it does not have a unique marker that can be isolated. For example, he will read, she shall come. Will and shall both are modal auxiliaries and not the markers of future tense as commonly people use it as future tense. We do not have any such kind of marker for future tense here. Let's study the types of tenses in detail for you all here. We have first very important thing, simple present tense. Now what does this indicate? The simple present tense is also called the present indefinite tense. The basic pattern to form this tense is subject plus infinitive plus object. For example, when I say Ram reads newspaper, Ram is subject here, newspaper is object, and we have reads as first form of verb. Uses of simple present tense, you must know why we use and where we use simple present tense. To express universal truths, we use simple present tense. For example, when we say the sun shines, we don't say the sun shined. The earth moves round the sun. In proverbs or sayings, we use to err is human. God favors those who help themselves. For theories and principles, we use simple present tense. For habitual actions also, we have example, Ram usually comes late to class. Radha always gets up early in the morning. For professional activities, we use simple present tense. A teacher teaches. A tailor stitches clothes. For running commentaries, we say Ram passes the ball to Shyam and Shyam sends it back to his neighbor. We cannot talk in terms of past tense here. For showing events and happenings in the immediate present, we have example here for you all. The war still goes on. And of course, with very important, you have to keep in mind certain verbs of perception, feel, hear, see, taste, smell, etc. Don't commit any error because we always use these verbs in simple present tense. The food smells awesome. I can hear the church bells. We have another kind of tense here, the present progressive or continuous tense. Some books you will find progressive tense, but it means the one and the same thing. You have continuous tense. Now see the basic pattern of this tense here. When we form the sentence, we say subject plus auxiliary verb plus present participle. Auxiliary verb is, am, are. Present participle is one verb, main verb plus ing. For example, when I say Ram is reading. So, Ram is subject here, is auxiliary verb, read is main verb, and then we add ing, it becomes progressive or continuous tense here. Uses of present progressive or continuous tense, we use them for the action happening at the moment of speaking. It is not completed action or activity, but the activity is in progress. For example, Ram is reading a book. He hasn't finished reading a book. So, what we say is Ram is reading a book. Sita is writing a letter. She is still continuing writing the letter. So, for action which is going on presently, we say it is present continuous tense. This tense is also used for an action going on these days, not necessarily at the moment of speaking. For example, when I say I am working on an environment related project these days, or he is teaching English at the university. Another example here is for showing action in future with going to. I am going to London next month. I am going to teach from next week. For a definite arrangement in near future, also we use this progressive tense. Ram is going for dinner with Sita tonight. Or we can use this example, I am leaving for Assam Friday night. Verbs which are not used in continuous tense, remember, this is very important thing to remember. We have verbs like hear, see, smell, feel, etc. Can you hear what I say? We don't use are you hearing what I say? This is the common error. You will come across people who use this word very often, but this is incorrect English and you say, can you hear what I say? Verbs like possessions of have, own, etc. You must have heard people saying, I am having a laptop. But this is absolutely incorrect English. We don't say having a laptop, we say I have a laptop. Verbs expressing feelings like love, hate, want, etc. We say I like my new dress and we don't say I am liking my new dress. Students, remember, these are the common errors you people commit. We don't ever use liking my new dress. Verbs of bodily sensations like ache, feel, itch, etc. We say, do you have a stomach ache? We never say, is your stomach aching? Let's take a look at another form of tense, that is present perfect tense. As the word suggests, when we say perfect, remember we always have has, have and had. The basic pattern for this tense is subject plus has or have plus past participle plus object. In past participle, we always use the third form of verb. Remember, earlier I said write, wrote and written. Written is the third form of verb there. So, we have an example here. Ram has read the book. Ram is subject here. Has is shows the perfect has or have. Read the book, read is the third form of verb, shows the past participle, and the book of course is object here. Uses of this tense, we say when you complete the action, the completion of the action by the time of your speaking or your writing, at that time the activity is over, we use this tense there. For example, Ram has read the book, so he has completed reading the book there. It is used with just already, yet, been, to, gone to, lately, for, since. For example, I have been working here for past 4 years. We have another present perfect progressive tense. So, you have present, you have perfect, you have progressive, that is continuous tense here. And the basic pattern for this tense is subject plus has, have, been plus present participle plus object. So, what do we have? In present participle, you have first form plus ing. For example, Ram is subject here. Ram has been reading the book. So, Ram is subject, has reflects the perfect, has been reading. Reading is present participle. The main verb is read plus ing adds to it, makes it participle, and you have the book object. Uses of the tenses of this kind, here you will say for an action which began in the past, okay, and it is still continuing, it is still going on, which means the action continues up to the time of speaking or writing. For example, Ram has been reading the book. He is still continuing reading the book just now. I have been writing the letter. I began writing my letter earlier and it has not been completed. It is continuing till now. So, I say I have been writing the letter. It can be used with time phrases like these, for, since, all the time, all days, etc. For example, I have been working as the university professor since 1996. Or he has been working for how long? There is a simple past tense also. As the word suggests, it is simple. The basic pattern is equally simple when we say subject plus past tense plus object. For example, Ram read the book. So, what do we have? Ram is subject here. The verb read shows the past tense and the book is an object. Use of this tense, we say that past action when time is given. In such a sentence, you find adverb of time is often used. For example, I saw him yesterday evening. For question about past action or events, we say, who cooked the food? For past habits, Ram never complained. In conditional sentences, to show an improbable condition, we say, if I were you, that is the condition, if I were you, I would have forgiven him. The same simple past tense we can form to the past continuous tense. The basic pattern would become subject plus was or were. Was we use for singular noun, were we use for plural. So, we have subject plus was or were plus participle plus object. For example, Ram was reading the book. Ram is subject here, was reading. Reading is present participle. If you remember, I said read first form of verb plus ing and we say present participle. The book is an object here. We use this tense to show an action was in progress for some time in the past. For example, Ram was reading the book. So, for some time we know that Ram was reading this book in the past. For indicating point of time, we use this tense, when I saw him, he was reading the book. So, what is indicating? The point of time was when I saw him, he was reading the book. Again, you have past perfect tense. Now, the basic pattern would become, it's so simple. See, the perfect, whenever you have perfect, we say has, have, had. So, when we are saying past tense, it becomes had. For example, Ram had read the book. Now, Ram is subject, had is perfect, read is past participle, the book is object here. The use of the tense is in conditional clauses to indicate non-fulfillment of a condition in the past. For example, if I had worked hard, I would have passed with flying colors. So, again you have conditional clause here. What is conditional clause? If I had worked hard, I would have passed with flying colors. When two past actions occur simultaneously or one action follows another immediately, both these actions are put into simple past tense. Remember that I wished my teachers before I started with my class. You have past perfect progressive. The basic pattern would be subject plus had been plus present participle plus object. For example, Ram had been reading the book. Ram subject, had been, and then reading present participle, the book is the object here. Simple future tense. Now, don't get confused students, we have already said there is no future tense, but then you Don't confuse yourself with future time. We discussed this in aspect and this is tense here. The basic pattern of this tense would be will, subject plus will, shall, or plus infinitive, the first form of the verb, plus object. For example, Ram will read the book. And we use this tense to express future habitual action. For example, birds will build nest. First person plus shall shows pure future. For example, I shall be 18 next month. So, this is pure future, that in future I shall be 18 years. Similarly, second and third person plus will shows simple future. Now, we have future continuous tense. The basic pattern of this tense is subject plus will be plus present participle. For example, Ram will be reading the book. Future perfect tense, we have basic pattern subject plus will or shall have plus past participle plus object. Simple present, for example, Ram will have read the book before the train arrives. Then you have future perfect continuous tense. Basic pattern, just check. Subject plus will or shall have been plus present participle plus object. The example of this here is Ram will have been reading the book. Ram subject will have been plus present participle reading plus object is the book here. Very important to know, there are errors which we normally commit in our use of language. Use past tense instead of present perfect tense with words like yesterday, last night, last week, etc. For example, we say, I read the book last night. We don't say, I have read the book last night. This is again a common error which you people make. Simple present tense should be avoided instead of present perfect. For example, I have been in this college for 7 years. We don't say, I am in this college for 7 years. Simple present should be used for habitual action instead of present continuous. For example, every morning I drink a glass of water. I don't say, every morning I am drinking a glass of water. Let's take a look. I've got a table of tenses for you, a very simple way to learn the tenses here. See, we have present, past and future. When you're talking the tense in simple present tense, I say she reads. If I say in past tense, I say she read. In future, she will read. If I say in continuous tenses, present continuous, the same sentence becomes she is reading. Past tense, she was reading. And in future, she will be reading. When I say perfect tense, remember has, have, had? We say in present perfect, she has read. Past tense, she had read. Future, she will have read. And of course, when we say perfect continuous, present perfect continuous, she has been reading. Past perfect continuous, she had been reading. And of course, in future perfect, we will say she will have been reading. So students, we've had a fruitful exercise today of seeing tenses, how the verbs work in a language. What are tenses? Tenses are the forms of verbs which indicate the time whether the action is in completion or it's in a continuous process. We've also covered the types of tenses, present tense, past tense and future tense. We've also covered the progressive and perfect aspects. In the end, we've seen a table which indicates how we are going to form a simple present tense to the past tense or present perfect to the continuous tense. So keep practicing and you are going to develop a good language.